kiti changu cha useneta, wafanye kampeni katika kaunti yetu ya Amani na wapatie wananchi wa Nyamira nafasi ya kuchagua yule kiongozi ambaye watampenda.
That is Okongo Mungani, and of course presenting his papers yesterday. Congratulations are in order, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we hope along the way, you know, sometimes in this fora that we've seen a lot of people presented with the papers, it doesn't mean that is all, you know, cut and dry. At the end of the day, it's not really cast in stone. But they always say if you get this particular, of course, clearance as well, at the end of the day, it's as good as you know, assuring for the way.
Just means you'll be on the ballot paper.
It means on the ballot paper.
Yes, yes, because that's
without
really
that
process.
Yes. But you've gone through the hurdles for the party primaries, now with the IEBC. So the next one is the one to speak.
The people have to really make the decision on 9th of August. So what happened yesterday is just clearance from IEBC, and we thank God because there have been serious problems of technology.
What is highlighted by the standard, if we just speak at IEBC system failures, jolt aspirants of 18.
In fact, in Mombasa constituency, out of 4 candidates, only one was cleared.
Only one?
Yes, 4 members of parliament, and I think that's, for me, is a fairly worrying trend, you know. If technology starts failing us this early during clearance of candidates to run for various seats, it doesn't send a very good message. And I don't know whether in the newsrooms you have received any explanation from the leadership of IEBC why technology is failing us, because I expected this to be a flawless process where you spend less than 45 minutes. Actually, my exercise at the ball took less than 40 minutes, the entire clearance exercise. I was allocated 10:30 to 11:30, but by 10:15 I was done and given my clearance to vie for senatorial seat. From Nyamira, I want to thank the officials. I think everything ran on smoothly. I didn't see any technical hitches. I don't know what's happening from other parts of the country, but ours was very flawless. I didn't see any technological challenges. And as Gladys says, it doesn't mean that I'm already the senator. I know the people of Nyamira will elect me, but we still have to go into the 60 days of campaign. If we were to strictly follow the law, the official campaign began yesterday.
But it doesn't feel like it's begun, isn't it? Does it feel like it's begun?
We have been campaigning for the last 3 years.
Gladys, I just want to speak to you this particular, you know, eventuality with the systems right now. Should we even be, because this should have been tested, this should have actually been put through the rigors of, you know, the rigors of in the entire process, a dummy run before now they put it on the ground. Should we be talking about system failures right now? Especially, you know, this is just how many months? Three months to the general election?
No, you know, sometimes I think the media, the headline is sometimes sensational and doesn't actually give the details. When they talk about the technical hitch, what was the hitch? What's the technical hitch? Is it that when they run the names of the proposers, the signatures for those vying an independent ticket, is it that when they ran the names of the 2,000 names or the 48,000 names that the system didn't work? We don't know if it's that system they're talking about. Is it that they wanted to access the system to find out if someone had logged in their ESCC self-declaration form? We don't know. So the story doesn't actually say what was the technical hitch, because no one is is trying to call up their fingerprints or anything like that. So it's actually unclear. They talk about a technical hitch, but they don't say what it is. What I have seen presented here is where somebody turns up and they don't have the identity card. Then they have to rush home and pick it. Or they arrive and they have signed their statutory declaration form, but probably it's not been commissioned by a commissioner of oaths. Or in a case where a person has filled out their form where they have a proposer and a seconder, but it turns out that the proposer and seconder are not registered voters in that particular electoral area. So those are not, it's not a technical hitch of machines, but probably documentation, at least from the narrative that they have given. So probably they would have just said it's just failure by persons to present their documentation. If you look at the case of Kalonzo Musyoka presented signatures, but I think they fell short of the threshold, in which case he was given more time until Friday to go and work on it. So that's not a technical hitch. It is a hitch on the part of the candidate to bring all the requisite papers. And it might sound very simple, but it's easy to forget. You know, I had someone look at my documentation for me yesterday because I said to them, they said, but you're a lawyer, you know it. I said, no. You know what? Sometimes when something is so mundane, it's easy to forget, yes. Yeah. Like you start realizing, where's my identity card? You don't carry your identity card on a normal day. True, yeah. Yes. So you start looking for it. So it's things like that, or your proposer comes with you but doesn't carry their ID. So those are the hitches that I have seen.
But should you also give it your full vent of energy and attention when you know an exercise that is as crucial as this? You have your checklist, right? You know, if that particular list is supposed to be on PDF format, you actually present it, or Excel sheet. Yeah. That should be some of the fine toothbrush.
That's what I'm saying is that sometimes it's oversight. When something looks simple, or you've done it before, it's easy to have an oversight.
And it can really cost you.
Yes, it can cost you. Yeah. Personally, I'm a thorough person, so that wouldn't happen to me because I go over the list and I have someone go over it for me.
Yes.
And the list, where's your ID? Yeah. Then I started looking for my ID. So it's just something as basic as that. If you look at the Nakuru West MP, Samuel Arama, it's reported that he had to go back home to collect one document. And then one of his proposers was missing in the Jubilee Party records. So you need to take the time to go on, got onto your party system and confirm that that person is a registered member of your party in order for them to qualify to be your proposer and seconder. And I know recently there's been the exercise where you go to verify your records with IEBC. You can, and I know that you can verify it by dialing in on your phone, but you need to go the extra mile, and that's what Kenyans are being told, is to verify your fingerprints. Because then there might be a mismatch with your name, because the other one just gives you your name, but doesn't confirm that your fingerprints are indeed attached to your name. So these are the hitches. It's not a hitch on the electoral process, but a hitch on the documentation, according to the story.
You know, Debat, this is a very serious issue. If you read page 5 of the Standard, you go to second column, you will see that in Kirinyaga County, where there were 30 aspirants, the documents presented their documents before noon, but the server went down.
Okay, then that is
forcing them to wait for hours. You know, that's a technical hitch. And you know, the server was, if you look at the presidential election petition 2017, these were the stories. Servers going down, court issuing orders for IEBC to present the servers. Then you are told people in France are asleep. When they wake up, the ones in the US are asleep. I'm worried. This is not something we need to see on our newspapers.
Right. So because this is in Kirinyaga County. Yeah. We actually out of 30 parliamenary aspirants.
Yeah.
Submitted before noon. The server went down. Yeah. Let me just zoom in there. Gladys.
I mean, we don't. We don't really.
This is what we're talking about.
These are serious issue. And I really want IEBC to take this seriously, come out and explain to Kenyans. There are stories you have not covered. I've told you, Debal, that in Mombasa constituency, only one candidate was cleared the entire of yesterday because of the technical issues from IEBC.
And the server was the same also issue in Gishugu, where the verification process of Njage Makanga, who was the first candidate to turn up at the IEBC office.
So you can see the story of, distinguish that with the story of Arama. The story of Arama, where you're missing a document, IEBC will just tell you, rush and come up with the documents and we will clear you. But where you have technical issues, it means the entire process stalls and IEBC is not able to move. I mean, that's a point of, remember for candidates seeking parliamentary and ward representatives. But if you see these kind of problems at presidential election, I mean, it will create a serious
Maybe Senator Mogeni can help us.
You've served in the IEBC before, yes. Gladys, as well. So this should actually be very telling in terms of the gravity of the matter. The servers will
that's
fail.
why I'm saying it's good to comment on something when you have the full facts. And maybe Senator Mogeni, because he has appeared before IEBC to have to access system to verify documents, or what system are they trying to access? That's what we need to know. Fact, I don't know it.
You see, IEBC system must first of all accept you as a registered voter, because it's a requirement in this country that you must be a registered voter in one of the constituencies. So if their system is down,
and the info is domiciled in the servers.
Yes, in their server. Okay. So if that information is not coming to the screens when they are trying to log in, it means they can't proceed, because the first process is for them to confirm from their system that you are a registered voter in one of the constituencies in Kenya. And if you get it wrong, like I remember somebody logged in yesterday and I think they picked Tinderet with the T without I. And you know, they posed and said, we may not clear you because you are registered in Nandi. Tinderet is in Nandi. And I told them, no, the Tinderet which appears on
so they're not using the
system
tablet
as I, which is Tinderet. Not
Tinderet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So might look on very minor issues.
Yeah, minor issues. So if that minor
just
issue is
picked
by the system, they cannot proceed. Okay. Then on the other hand, the registrar of political parties, as a desk there, they have to also confirm that you are a member of your political party or that you are an independent candidate. And then your proposer and seconder must also be a member, registered member of the party that is sponsoring in that seat. So if all these things are not being picked, and your form, I think, you surrender to EACC, must also be logged into the system for them to confirm that what you're presenting is the same document that you filed with IEBC. So if any of these documents are missing in their system, then they cannot proceed. They tell you there is a technical hitch, and we have to wait for this information to be verified, be logged in the system, then we proceed. I think that is the problems that we are seeing, and it's not. We are not unfairly criticizing IEBC, but we are saying.
Let me hear from them.
I think it's important that I clarify this now that you will.
Let me just give a chance to also Sosion so that we can come back.
Yes.
I'm sure my good lawyers have weighed in with a lot of details and trying to establish facts. But going by what is on the front page of Standard, that the system failed and is confirmed that even some servers were not working or names misplaced. I think this is a serious cause to worry, considering that we've got to deliver credible and verifiable elections that are acceptable to Kenyans.
Indeed.
And Dibal, if we go back to 2007, what caused the post-election? It is how elections were transmitted. And in 2013, when we moved fully to ICT system, by around 10 o'clock on the voting day, the tablets almost refused to work all over the country, and the IEBC had to revert to manual process of voting. But now, in 2022, it's almost that the entire process has gone fully to ICT. But remember, in 2017, what caused the nullification of the election? It is one thing. IEBC was unable to open the servers. So really, as we move to 2022, and these are high-stake elections, it's about transition, then IEBC should engage in total due diligence and ensure that the ICT infrastructure is working and seamless, faultless. And there have been fears that even some of them during this vote register verification, which I am sure many Kenyans have not even verified, whether they are voters, whether they appear on the register, some names could be missing from the polling stations or the names swapped from one region to the other. It is something that needs to be checked. And probably verification of the register should be a continuous exercise up to even the polling day. And then the question is, these animals called the servers.
Yes.
That are the centers of controversy in this election. Can the IEBC come out and tell the ordinary voter, because voting is a right, and the right of the ordinary voter to understand that the entire ICT infrastructure system, including the servers, are working and in place, and that results will be streamed in. They will be credible and acceptable. Because if we need electoral justice and acceptance by the people of Kenya of the electoral process that will be in place, then the IEBC should ensure that the ICT system is working, it's above board, and the outcome can be accepted. And of course, it's being tested with the submission by the various candidates. Is going to test whether the server is working, whether the register is in place, and whether there are errors or names are missing. And I think what is ongoing is good. We'll be checking as we move by. But IEBC should be able to ensure that its ICT infrastructure is working, it is in order, and Kenyans can be convinced that IEBC will deliver credible, verifiable elections.
Gladys, it should be very frustratingly disconcerting, even when you hear about 3G network that we're speaking right now. When we're just, cutting it very close to the general election, and this sort of system issues should have dealt with, within the 5 years that IEBC has been there.
Yes, I think having managed elections and having been part of the team that designed the current system, I understand it clearly, and I want us to speak about it factually. I don't want to be speculative about it because that would be unfair on IEBC. So let's not be speculative. My assumption is, and this I probably stand to be corrected by IEBC, is that when you go to present your documents to the Electoral Commission as a candidate, the officers at your electoral area do not access the entire array of the server. You only give limited rights to people of that electoral area, or the information relating to that particular name. So it's not that that if the system is down in one electoral area, it would affect every electoral area. Also, that information would be in the system. So either the tablet is not charged, or they don't have internet connectivity,
which should not be an issue.
And this is a point verification exercise that is ongoing very seriously. Even as a candidate, I'm not going to present myself to IEBC until I have gone to verify my fingerprints in advance, which I have done. Because I know that I should verify my signatures. They are currently going around. The register is being cleaned up, because if you don't verify your details now, including your biometric data, you could end up on voting day and not be able to vote because there is a mismatch. Therefore, your identity cannot be picked up. So, in fact, it is also something that should be told to all candidates, that before you go and present your documentation, make sure you verify. Not only should you do the verification, but your proposer and seconder must have verified their biometric data and their information at the electoral area with the current ongoing exercises. If I were presenting signatures as an independent candidate, again, the verification is a higher process. So, and they should do that, because you could end up having somebody signing for you your form and saying that it's part of the signatures, the 2,000 signatures you've collected, but have you verified that person is a registered voter? You haven't. So that process, when IEBC runs through the names, they might find that some of them are not actually registered voters. So it becomes a problem. And you'll see, if someone as high as a presidential candidate, like Alonso Musyoka, would have a problem, and they have a network of their party around the country, then that's a bigger challenge. But that should not water down the demand that we are making as voters, as political parties, that IEBC should ensure that they have for those areas. So actually IEBC is fully aware. In other areas, we knew that when they sent the result out,
yes,
if that area, and in this particular elections, IEBC will be uploading the result form, not texting the results. They will be uploading the image of the result form. And when that happens, if they don't have the coverage to take an image where they are, usually less than 20 kilometers away, they will be covering. And when I was at so we that it's like if you send a WhatsApp message now and you don't have coverage here in this room, the message is saved. The moment you enter a place with coverage, it does send automatically. Yes. So it's not an area of work. It's an area that IEBC should explain to political parties. It's important that they carry Kenyans forward as they do this. And I know personally,
yes,
I will be attending those meetings.
Okay.
As a member of UDA.
So that at least you have a stake,
yes,
and you know how the process also is ongoing.
Yes.
Thank you. And I think momentarily also we'll try and reach one of the commissioners to just comment on this particular failure so that we get it right from the horse's mouth at the end of the day. And we get to know what is really happening as far as preparation is concerned. Right now, we should not be raising eyebrows on servers and 3G network systems and the satellite phones. If they're working on a KIM system, things should be, they should be having the ducks in a row as far as preparations is concerned. So we'll try and reach one of the commissioners this morning to just comment via phone if we'll get a hold of him. But even as we're winding up on this, finally, we know it's a big day that they have been presenting, of course, their names, or they've been going to IEBC for verifications, the process of clearing the aspirants, eyeing also the Senate and the National Assembly seats. It kicked off, I should say, countrywide. That is yesterday. And among those who were given the green light were Bungoma Senator and Kenya Kwanza leader Moses Wetangula. Let's just listen into what really happened on the ground yesterday, because also that particular ticket for Senator Wetangula has drawn very sharp criticism from the other side of the divide, that is Azimio, saying if he's really, confident about Kenya Kwanza really gathering government at the end of the day, then why should you be running for a senator's seat? Because you've been promised at the end of the day 70% slate of the government. So why should you care a fig about your senatorial seat? Let's listen.
The people of Embakasi Central give me another chance to serve them. I promise to do three new more secondary schools to ensure that no kid in Embakasi Central who will not go to school, and also to ensure that the 100% transition it has been felt in here in our constituency.
Shule zetu ziko congested, na pia tunakuwa wanafunzi wakiwa pale ndani hawana enough desks. Matatizo yako mengi, kwa majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu tutatatua, ambapo tutapata ushindi.
Tufanye kampeni na amani, na pia wamama wachitokeze, watu wachitokeze tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 kupiga.
Tutatumia vijana wetu ambao wako na ujuzi hapa Embakasi. Tuchenge shule at a very low cost. Tuchenge hospitali at a very low cost. Na tuweze, sio kama saa hii mtu anajenga darasa 2 na anasema ametumia 50 million. kwa sababu kuna mtu wa tumbo kubwa amepatiwa contract kutoka kwa nje.
Kwa leo tulikuwa tunatarajia kwamba tungepatana na candidates 6, lakini kawa 6 wale ambao wamefika hapa na wakawakilisha documents zao ni 4 peke yake. Hao wengine 2 ni wale tunaita independent candidates, na walikuwa na challenge kwa kucollect the signatures pamoja na zile IDs ambao walikuwa wameambiwa walete.
Well, those are the sentiments on the ground. Of course, I'll give you the story of Moses Wetangula also getting his ticket, and that sharp criticism that is being drawn from the other side of a divide. But also still on the People Daily, you have IEBC who is set to nominate, or set date to nominate State House race contenders. That began yesterday. Today, these are the faces that will be before IEBC. At 2 p.m, we'll have George Wajakoya. This is on the front page of the People Daily today. On Saturday, 11 a.m, we'll have William Ruto. Saturday at 2 p.m, we'll have also Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga. On Sunday, 10 a.m. So this is running throughout the week. If we may just look at the People Daily this morning, 2 hopefuls turned away so far. More lineup for clearance by Chebukati's team before they get green light to vie. And remember that campaign trail, the official campaign trail announced by all campaignings began yesterday officially, though it seems that is, we are really past that junction of announcement from IEBC, because people have been storming and whistle stop so far on the ground with the campaigns. That is what is on the front page of the People Daily today. We'll give you that story and continue commentating on it much later. But top Ruto joins us. This was the biggest story yesterday. Shifting alliances, big blow to Deputy President as UDA Vice Chair Kipruto Kirwa quits vows to back Raila Odinga for State House weeks after Treasury Omingo Magara resigned. This is on page 4. So barely how many months right now? Even 6 months since the Treasury Secretary resigned. We have the Vice Chair. This is a big post within UDA, jumping ship right now. What really has informed the jumping ship?
I think you must note that this is the season.
This is the season.
This is the season.
But this is not the time. The season, yes, but this is not the time to jump ship. You should have actually made that particular decision. It really speaks a lot to. And then what he said, especially the sentiments are very important. We'll play the clip itself, so that when we talk about inter-party democracy, that this can be reflected on the general leadership of William Ruto as far as democracy is concerned. Okay. That's really
just
telling.
In the time of just saying the season, I was in Nandi County the last few days, and in Nandi County we had candidates who were going to vie either independents or in other political parties who stepped down and said we're no longer running. And you see, before they submit their names to the IEBC, they're not on the ballot. And that's why they have the time between now and the time that they present their names to IEBC. So because once IEBC has taken your names, then it means you definitely appear before the ballot. So people are shifting, whether it's at the political party officials level or at the graduate level.
Can we listen to the clip then continue?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
Let's just listen to the clip that I had to say, and then we continue with the conversation.
Siku 13 nimekuwa nikifikiria ni vipi nitaendelea kukaa upande ambao naona demokrasia inaenda kusulubiwa msalabani. Ndipo jana usiku nikapigia Mheshimiwa Karua simu kwamba kesho uko wapi. Akasema anakuja Bungoma, na nikajua Bungoma ni jirani ya Trans Nzoia ninakoishi. Bungoma ndio chanzo ya siasa ya Western Province. Nikasema nitakuja hapa niungane nanyi, tuelekeze huduma ya nchi hii katika hali ambayo inatakiwa.
Karibu nyumbani. Tunaelewa Kipruto Arab Kirwa, wakati tulikuwa kwa serikali pamoja na yeye na baba kwa serikali ya Kibaki, alikuwa ni mtu mchapakazi. Alikuwa na wizara ya agriculture, ikafanya vizuri. Ukiangalia hawa wote tuko hapa ni wachapakazi. Hata baba mwenyewe alikuwa waziri wa barabara, na mnakumbuka ukarabati wa barabara wakati wa enzi ya Kibaki.
Right, borrowed from the passions, perfected by the Romans, crucifixion, as you know, it is such a grueling, torturous tool of affliction that can be, subjected to anyone. So when you talk about the bureaucracy being pinned on the cross, I think that is very telling from...
I think first let's put it like this. Shifting at this time is possible.
Yes.
And people can do it. And it's within Kipruto Kirwa's right to move to whatever political affiliation he feels most comfortable. I think what people realize when they come to UDA is that there's been a paradigm shift. It's no longer about individuals and them getting into positions. It's about serving the people. It's about Kenya Kwanza. It's about the people first. So you will find that people like Kipruto Kirwa will become uncomfortable after a while when they realize that it's not about them being allocated positions, but actually about the people.
But he seems to be having scruples.
Allow me to say this because it's an important point. And also, most importantly, Kipruto Kirwa has not shifted with our base. He has shifted alone. So...
But how do you know that? How do you know that?
We know that. We know that from our polls,
evidence.
from our studies. He held a position in UDA, but he did not command a following. He was not on the ground politically. So it does not make any difference.
You should know even the power of one vote is very telling. Yeah, what really brought Hitler to power? Wasn't it the power of one vote within his party as well?
But
so even if he's just bolted with that one vote, that is telling at this particular neck and neck presidential election.
Yes, if he bolts with one vote, we come in with thousands more. So it still ends up being a...
But I wanted to ask you, isn't it consternating to you that he's raising questions about the leadership of a deputy president, that he has a problem with his leadership within the party, and that if it's reflected to the whole public, then we will be in dogs as a country?
I can imagine somebody as senior as Kipruto Kirwa
making those pronouncements
at his age, shifting at the last minute, having served in a senior position, a party. People would wonder whether he's someone to be trusted, because one time you believe in this and the next thing you change your mind. He said he called Martha Karua overnight and says, I'm coming to you. So by the time you make such a decision, you have to have an explanation to the nation. I think using William Ruto was his best way of explaining to people, because people are shocked.
People are shocked.
So yes, everyone has to have a reason.
Yeah, and so people are shocked as well.
People choose different because they have to explain to the public.
Right.
So he had to explain himself.
Omingo Magara also shocked me as well, because he had the same scruples with the leadership within UDA at the end of the day. So is it just reading from the same template?
I mean, UDA, it hasn't said triples to me or my team, yes.
All right, let's hear from...
I think, Dibal, we really should not hype such happenings. It's part of our democracy. Read Article 38, that every person has a right to associate with a political party, engage in political activities of his own will. So these Kenyans who are exercising their democratic rights should really not attract much discussion. And I can see the angle of attack, that you'd like to pick a storm in a teacup within UDA.
I like the angle of attack.
Very large. Because I remember a few days ago, it was about Kithure Kindiki, when he made a statement that who is bolted out. It looked like it's big news. You'd like to see specks on the eyes of UDA, but you are forgetting that even on the side of Azimio, it has suffered the most. Number one, Kalonzo Musyoka has just pointed out, is out there. It's not very clear where he is. That should be the biggest news. Amason Kingi has come out and is making very, very serious allegations about activities within Azimio. Musalia Mudavadi was in Oka, was in Azimio, and has worked out what is the constituency of Musalia Mudavadi in terms of votes, together with Moses Wetangula. That's a very, very huge constituency. Alfred Mutua and many more others. I think we should have moments to discuss these big political party leaders, rather than discussing small issues, which I would call storms in a teacup. So I think we are yet to see more. People will be shifting. People will be taking decisions. and that's it. And I think within the framework of it's the presidential candidates have submitted their credentials, then the next page should be the manifestos, and we'll be talking about what is documented, because manifestos will form the contract with the people of Kenya. And I think that is where now we should shift focus, rather than looking for
allow me to take a
corners of some political parties.
Okay, so you say small issue. All right, are you in a very nuanced way, subtle way, you're telling us that Kipruto Arap Kirwa is a small fish within UDA? Why did you give him that particular vice chair position, right? You're talking about Kalonzo. Even as we take a short break, we have this editorial cartoon as we're taking a short break. Well, if you're not aware, this is maybe what is happening according to Victor Ndulo there. Welcome back. Now, where were we? And that is Raila Odinga and Wiper holding court as well. So there has been sentiments, according to the pundits, that he will be coming back to Azimio. We shall be interrogating that as well. This is what has been deciphered. This is the one who seated is Kalonzo Musyoka when you see the Wiper. And Odinga. We take a short break.